Good morning, Europe. Good morning, world, and welcome back to our series of webinars about the third and final open call of NGI LEDGER, which is the Human-Centric Venture Builder program funded by the European Commission under Horizon 2020. One round has already completed the journey, and the second group is currently going through the program. In 2 weeks, you'll receive some live feedback from some of the participants. We're looking forward to seeing you again. Please note that the webinar is recorded and will be posted on the NGI YouTube channel for a maximum of 5 years, and that you are free to leave the webinar whenever you like. We invite you all to interact with us in the dedicated question box on the right of your screen. Here you can ask all your questions, and we will try address most of them in the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Here's a brief overview of today's schedule. We're going to see what is LEDGER, the 6-month Venture Builder program, which we saw last week, but also the verticals and technical mentoring, as well as who can apply, and again, the Q&A session. So let's begin. I'd like to introduce the speakers again. We have Thomas Wilczek from Funding Box. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure.
We're happy to have you. There's myself, Thomas Shamignani, from Blue. And then we also have the team from Dying. We have Andrea, we have Miha, and we have Jeremy. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning. Maybe Thomas, you want to point out that there was a typo, and Miha is part of the Dying team and not of the Funding Box team.
All right, that's true.
Oh.
Unless you want to pair, of course, then we can discuss.
We very much like to hold on our colleague Mia. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Love you too.
We do apologize. Miha is definitely a part of the Dying team, and sorry, Funding Box, but you can't have her.
Yeah, no.
I guess we can get started with asking our listeners a question, which is, have you already started your application? You should be able to see the question on your screen now. And then once we have the answer to this question, we will begin by presenting the consortium briefly and then go straight the webinar. 50% have voted, 56%. We're waiting for more answers. Okay. There we go. We have the results to the question. And now we can continue the webinar. Right, so the consortium. Thomas, would you like to tell us a bit more about Funding Box?
Yes, sure. Thank you again. Well, Funding Box, we are a European nonprofit organization with a team of 80 professionals that operate out of 3 hubs in Poland, Denmark, and Spain. And our offering is twofold. On the one hand, we are now one of the largest European deep tech ecosystems, which is based on our funding platform for entrepreneurs of over 30,000 members. On that platform and in that ecosystem, entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs can find funding opportunities, know-how, tech connections, peers, and everything they need to help them on their journey. The platform hosts a large amount of dedicated communities around deep tech topics like blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics, IoT, etc., etc. The LEDGER project does have a community on it, of course, and I invite you, if you haven't signed up to it, to do so. I will post a link later here in the chat. You can find a lot of information there and be up to date, also with the open call. And when you're applying, this can also serve as a help desk if you have any questions. We will get to back to that later. And the second side of Funding Box is dedicated to investors and corporates, so sort of to close the circle, the other side of the coin. We help them identify and integrate innovative startups and SMEs. We do so by providing screening and matchmaking services. Funding Box is of course present in a lot of Horizon 2020 projects like this one, and here we have the role of project coordinator, and we are supported by our great partners Dyn and Blue Morpho. I hand over to Dyn, I guess. Jerome?
Sure. At Dyn, we work since more than 20 years now on free and open source software for ethical reasons. We have produced various operating systems, GNU Linux based through the years, and software. Last not least, we have been technical coordinators of the Decode project, which became a flagship project, one of the first, actually the first blockchain-based research commissioned in Europe as a research. And then now we are mentoring, technical mentors for this funding. It's the first time for us to mentor a fund. We are a community-based organization, so this is all new to us. We try to welcome you into various projects based on facts and on actual produced code, and insert you into the community approach to development, which means to be open from the beginning in the process, to actually celebrate results early, and to reach a level of readiness and documentation that allows also other people to approach your project, adopt it, share it, modify it, and distribute the modifications. What is the business model into this? It's up to you to discover. There are nowadays many companies that have been evaluated several billions for doing open source software. And that is in services, in know-how, in adaptation of the services, and in many other models that you will explore through the LEDGER acceleration. So what we are looking for in this third call is someone that is really capable of challenging these in Europe to show an excellence in delivery, and also in a delivery that is free and open source. It's new to Europe. It's not so new in the US. You will find many good examples, and we hope that this will be established also in Europe as an excellence, the production of open source software that can be peer reviewed. So visit our website to see all the other projects, and I hope soon we will be talking about yours.
Thank you, Jeremy. I will present Blue Morpho. Blue Morpho, we are based in France and in Germany. We deliver disruption in products and business models, going from ideation to additional revenue streams. As deep tech experts, we act as a corporate third-party partner, activating open innovation ecosystems to deliver value. And by deep tech, it includes, well, blockchain and decentralized technologies and AI and many other technologies that fall within that category. Through ecosystem design, we work with large corporations, private investors, research organizations, startups, SMEs, and institutions to achieve disruptive innovation. In LEDGER, Blue Morpho will provide business mentoring, and we bring our network that I've just mentioned a few moments ago, plus our experience conducting specific actions in deep tech. Well, that means all the technologies that I stated before. That large network of SMEs, startups, large corporations, etc., counts to more than 70,000 contacts and across over 24 verticals. Addition to our role within LEDGER is fundraising, which, because of course LEDGER is a project, so it has a beginning and an end. So it's very important that the teams that go through the program manage to continue their fundraising journey. Sustainability is an important topic that we look at with the teams. How do you continue once the project is over? And within 6 months, this is one of the reasons why we have asked for teams that are more established. But that will be explained in a later webinar. Let's move on. We're going to briefly remind you what NGI Ledger is. Thomas from Funding Box, could you tell us?
Yes, as already mentioned in the previous webinar, but since these are also alone standing recordings later, I will just repeat quickly to give you an overview of what Ledger is. And I'm sure today we count also with Jaromil, CEO of Dyn, who will later get surely a lot more into depth here. So generally speaking, we are an EU-funded project that supports human-centric research and innovation projects to develop minimal viable products and services, so MVPs, which aim to create new models that preserve citizens' control over their data. By that we mean models where data is a common good that is owned by citizens, and where any wealth that is created by these services and platforms with our data is then equally distributed and does not enrich only a few big corporations as it is happening now. So we are looking to support projects that have core values like privacy by design, decentralized data governance, trustworthiness, reliability, openness, open source, as Jaromil was pointing out. So one could say that we are something, well, or as he just pointed out, that we are something fairly new, something different to the established, let's call it Silicon Valley model. Although, of course, we use aspects when we do the program, the Venture Builder program, which is sort of like an acceleration program, but of course, we have different values, as mentioned before. The core idea is that we are trying to build a new internet, again, where the citizens, the human beings are at the center. And as I said in the previous webinar, we would like you to see yourselves as pioneers and as part of something bigger. In fact, the Ledger is part of the European Commission NGI initiative, NGI for Next Generation Internet. I will post a link here in the chat later, so you can actually visit the page and get a bit more information. Because, of course, this alignment of your project, of your idea with the NGI values is very important for your applications. So to summarize, our goal is to ensure data sovereignty and to eliminate concentration of data by leveraging on decentralized technologies such as blockchain, distributed ledger, peer-to-peer, and more. You can do this in 5 pre-selected verticals, and an additional more open category, and our partners from Dyn will inform you now a bit more in detail on what these verticals are about. Thank you.
Great. I guess I'll just go quickly through what you stand to gain as part of Ledger. In this third round, it is up to 150,000 equity-free in MVP development for the 9 equity-free MVP development, 6 months of customized venture building, access to premium class technology, access to technical mentoring, business mentoring, and to a pool of investors and early adopters with PR exposure.
Thomas, if you would like, I quickly run through the 6-month Venture Builder program, the graph that we see here. Sorry, I was handing over to Dyn a bit too early. Thanks for stepping in there anyway. So yeah, just to quickly give you an idea of this advanced third round that we have built, which is reduced to 6 months and has 3 different stages, as you can see here. And then you can see the different installment milestones. As you know, this is a venture builder program based on the modality of cascade funding, which means the teams at the beginning of the program lay out an action plan and their KPIs, and they have certain milestones and deliverables to hit, and each time they do that and are checked upon, they get a tranche of the funding. And as you can see here, we have pointed out the different main deliverables, let's say, which are 4. And then in the last month, with the conclusion of the program and via the assessment of different KPIs that we have set at the beginning of the program, we will identify a small number, up to 4 top performer teams who will get an extra incentive, an extra prize for their top performance throughout the program. Our colleague Stein will be able to tell you a bit more about those different elements. For example, collaboration and yeah, there's a number of KPIs that we are looking for to identify who are the top performers of the program. Next slide, please. So the application process, just again, very quickly, we went through this during the other webinar and wanted to focus today more on verticals and on the tech side, on the tech mentoring side for Dyn. So I will be very brief here. The application process itself, you go to the application platform on the LEDGER project and do your application, which will then be automatically verified, the legibility of your application. Then it comes to a phase where independent experts in different stages assess, evaluate your application. The top projects will then be invited to a jury day, in difference to previous years. Of course, also because of the effect of COVID, this jury day will happen online, and there will be no live pitching as such during the online event, as we have seen that it's very extensive to do so. So you will be asked to record a pitch on video, send it to us, and this will be previously evaluated, and you will then be invited to a jury day where there will be individual interview sessions with the jury and you, and where we'll be asked about certain aspects in order to decide who of the pitching projects will be selected to pass on to the project and get funded. That's in a very broad kind of way the application process and the selection process. Please go to our website where you will find the guide for applicants and the frequently asked question documents where this is broken down in detail. Please read it with good attention. Ask us any question that you might have through the different help desk channels, and we are here to help you. So yeah, I guess now I hand over to my colleague Stein. Thank you.
Yes, please tell us more about human-centric and what that means.
Yes, that's the core of the LEDGER project. It stands in the title. We are looking for human-centric ventures. I would add even like nature-centric, that respect actually the environment and the social environment that is around. So what does it mean really? is that we are looking for social entrepreneurs, people that do not follow just profit in developing the concept of their project. Because we believe that there are big opportunities to be made nowadays in actually developing an ethical business as well, an ethical project, a community that pursues ethical objectives. And by this does not mean that it has to be without a sustainability horizon. So it boils down to a sort of new accelerator, in our case, that openly criticizes the startup model of fail fast and opens up the narrative to a responsibility model in which we build responsibility together with the community of people that uses the service, develops the service, at the point of calling it a community of participants. At Dyn, we see actually the role of developers as the roles of users. We call ourselves participants, and we try to be together into a process of defining the rules of the environment in which we live. So human-centric means to open up the decision-making also of your platform, to actually make people understand what happens to their data, to make people participate in the decision-making of what is being done with their data, with their presence online, with the memory of their actions, and with the values that they share in a community. This is not impossible. There are many actual examples that we will go through in our program and that we have worked on in our organization as well. And it is also a concept that, as you can see from the slide, has been endorsed by many public institutions that try to make the place we live a better place. Now, the starting point this year is not an easy one, but I believe that there are many opportunities to innovate also in the digital field to actually make our use of the online sphere or of the digital dimension a use that really helps people to get closer and not far away from each other. Up to you to present your ideas in this hard challenge. The accelerator this year is shorter. Our program is shorter and faster. Therefore, we expect your ideas to be already mature prototypes and have some sort of grounding into an activity that is, again, human-centric. And by this, again, I tell you, let's start including also in the more than human, the nature around us and the environment. You will see more precisely with the verticals that human-centric doesn't means necessarily to put the humans first and make nature pay. So we do have also an attention to the environmental aspects of the projects, to the consumption footprint, to the easiness to appropriate by communities, to actually understand what you do with your code, and we will facilitate, again, as much as possible with our experience. This may sound new to some of you. I invite you really to read well what's coming up, because it's not a coincidence that the European Commission tries this experiment working with a community organization like ours. I believe that the agenda that puts at the center society and environment is growing, and I hope so. And this can be a standing point for the project, a point of launch and recognition in an Europe in which we all hope this space will grow, the space for projects that are human-centered.
Thank you very much for that, Jeremy. And it's true that the sustainability aspect, the link to nature, is very real, and it's part of what was included in last year's demo day when the teams were encapsulated in various events with actors that also look at the environment and consider more than just the financial aspect of building something new. Let's take a look at the verticals. So in LEDGER, we are looking for 5 verticals, and additionally a 6th vertical that we call open innovation, because it is actually open. These verticals are help, economy, mobility, public services, energy and sustainability as one vertical. So if we look at health, we are basically looking for solutions that leverage patient-generated health data with the goal of achieving a measurable improvement of life conditions of the patients. In this, we'd like to promote decentralized data governance practices and tools to access data in a secure and disintermediated way. Solutions in health insurance data management are included within this category.
Sorry, just a second. May I add that we also invite, although this will be seen in the work program, we also invite any solutions that address the COVID pandemic, of course, to be part of this. In the health sector and in any other vertical, I just wanted to point it out. Thank you.
Yes, very topical. The COVID pandemic is still very relevant in 2021. Solutions addressing COVID-19 are very welcome. If we now take a look at mobility, in this case, these are models to build and pay for services on a decentralized and interoperable mobility ecosystem with the scope of urban planning and smart cities. Automotive, so think of electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles, public and private transport, and mixed mobility, in other words, a mix of any of those, finding ways to make it work for society. The goal we have for mobility here is to promote the creation of general frameworks where mobility data is a digital common. It's for the common good, it's for everyone. This general framework should enable different entities to join and build new sustainable business models. Remember, this is LEDGER. We're looking to work for the greater good. Another vertical is energy and sustainability. Maybe Jerome would like to tell us a bit more about that.
Sure. So the field, in speaking about environment, the field of energy and sustainability is a big topic. We believe that there can be very good opportunities for innovation in producing energy, exchanging energy, and creating the vision of a grid in which energy can be exchanged, produced among people, and not just dropped down from big central producers. This because environmental energy can be actually produced in a more decentralized way. And while we are shifting away, hopefully faster than ever now from an oil-based economy and gas-based economy, then we hope that new solutions that can leverage actually the complexity of the digital innovation, cryptography, and distributed ledger technologies, there can be new solutions that offer a new playing field for European single market to actually play energy as an asset, as an asset that is produced in a decentralized way. So that you can see there, you can see a list of targeted issues, and the goal is definitely that of breaking oligopolies and opening up a playing field for Europe.
I can go ahead with the economy if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. So economy, innovative ways to improve economic interaction between peers, like crowdfunding, peer-to-peer participatory budgeting are solutions that we need and we would like to reinforce in LEDGER. The growing need for qualitative ways of risk mitigation to support social entrepreneurship means for us MVPs that should provide algorithmic and data sovereignty in power dynamics and value circulation. And the goal in economic is disintermediation and standardization. In other words, create accountable qualitative technological processes for financial transaction, operational spending, reviews, and apply regulations in a transparent and accountable way. This is more or less what economic means for us. Public services, yeah. I should go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Thanks. So this is more or less the more clear, the clearer sector. We are looking for solutions to make life easier for citizens, for public officers and the cities. This solution should imply the creation of interoperable public services and put citizens back in control of their data. The solution in higher education are included here, and the goal is to create algorithms that are usable and in different circumstances, adaptable to different needs in different cities. So scalable solutions also for other communities, not just for the local ones. So you need to think to the big picture.
Thanks, Mia. I think that's we can stress how important is this vertical for us. We are looking for more projects that help also the public sector to simplify its processes, to leverage new opportunities of data exchange that we have in a safe way, things that we explored at length in the Decode project, which is foundational to this fund. And in higher education in particular, it must be noted that in these difficult times of pandemics, we have been seeing major corporations, often with servers outside of Europe, actually taking over all the process of education, the schooling, and basically providing a platform for remote schooling that uses data in a different way than laws in Europe have sketched and have ruled. So we are looking for alternatives. If you have an idea on how to operate a free and open source platform, or you are even developing one, a free and open source platform to actually facilitate higher education, but also schooling nowadays, that is the case to apply to this project. It's ambitious, it can be done, and you can demonstrate it also on a local scale. A pilot is the way to start.
We also need to start somewhere. So coronavirus made some acceleration, but also some damages in this data ethics.
Take this opportunity to apply, and we're looking forward to applications. I guess in that case, we have our final category, which again isn't a vertical in itself because it's open to everything. Open innovation means all other solutions that do not fit in the previous categories that were stated before. What it must include, however, is that these solutions must address the topics of privacy by design and decentralized data and governance. Proposals that have a cross-cutting approach within LEDGER's verticals framework focus on the human-centric nature of the solutions are encouraged to apply under this vertical. So basically, if you find that your solution really does kind of link two verticals or three, or perhaps manages to work with any of the verticals, it is very much welcome. Perhaps my colleagues would like to add something to that as well.
Yes, I wanted to add the fact that this is the reason, the human-centric nature is the reason why in LEDGER, open source projects are a must. So open source ledgers are, open source projects are a must because of their role in achieving the common goal of human-centric nature and human-centric design. By creating community-built solutions and initiatives. So starting from the bottom and embracing the vision of the communities and the philosophy of the open social. So it's a central point, a central focus in LEDGER, the open source model.
For us, proprietary software means centralization of knowledge. So you have to stand the challenge of allowing peers, be them from the academy, the industry, or the communities of the open source, to actually read your code and challenge your implementation. This will make it better and stand the challenge of time.
Right, that wraps it up for the verticals. This is now the time to learn more about technical mentorship. But before that, we have questions for our listeners. Which of the verticals are you considering to apply for? Let me just state now that you're just going to see the 5 verticals, excluding open innovation, and there will be another question asking if you'll be voting for if you'll be applying for open innovation instead. All right, I imagine that if we don't have 100% of the votes, it's because they're going to vote for open innovation instead. What I'll do is I'll show you the answers that we have for now. That way you can see public services is leading, followed by health. And then final question for this webinar is, do you fit in the open innovation category instead? Okay, fantastic. Here are the answers for you to see. And now we can go on to learn more about technical mentorship. On to you.
Should we present this? I don't know if Andrea or Mia you like, otherwise I go.
As you wish, guys. Should I say a few words about it?
Yes, Andrea, I think you are running pretty well the schedule. So, and you are the person that people will see you most.
Unfortunately for you guys. Good morning, everybody. Andrea here. Together with Mia, we are running the technical mentorship. The way we have been running the second round, and we will run a third round, is as following. We have a number of planned activities, mostly revolving around a bi-weekly one-to-one mentorship session. So every second week, we meet with every team for 30 to 90 minutes, depending on the situation. And we try and assess where they are and how we can help them. Then every second week, we also have a meeting with all the teams together that we try to keep within 1 hour. So every team gets 5 minutes to present what they've been doing the past 2 weeks and discuss what their plans are, what their achievements are, and what they're stuck on. And also based on this, we try and assess the whole health of the project and what is needed to speed up development. So we focus everything about those 2 scheduled events, and based on that, we decide how the technical mentorship in the background would work. So we are 2 people being your first point of contact. Behind us, we have between 10 and 15 people, depending on the situation. We have experts in development in different fields. We have legal experts, we have experts in DevOps, we have a bunch of different talents that can help you when needed. What we're trying to do is that we're trying to optimize everybody's time and to foster collaboration. So based on the needs of the teams, we're setting up group meetings with mentors and webinars that are mostly recorded. So the focus is on planned activities that would decide how the rest of the schedule with the other mentors would be planned during the program. And just to give you an idea, so far we are at the 4th month of the second round, and we already had 4 webinars, some of them with external partners, and we had several group meetings covering different subjects like cryptography, mobile development, and the teams are advancing quite fast, pretty fast, I would say. So that is going quite okay. Those are the webinars that we have scheduled, and some of them we executed already, that cover pretty much everything you can be interested in when it comes to development. For example, we had a webinar about the backend development that we canceled because we figured out the other teams knew about it, so it wasn't needed. But instead, we only had one webinar about GDPR, and we heard from most of the teams that they would be interested in having a webinar about open source licenses, so we did that too. So we had an extra webinar about open source licensing and the business of open source, where we invited 2 external partners to speak, who are 2 excellents in the field. And yeah, this is the way we are running the mentorship. So based on the needs of the teams, based on the feedback we collect weekly from the teams, we structure the activities that we put in place to accelerate the development. Next slide, please. Who can apply? This, I think, give it back to Thomas Wilczek.
Yes, thank you, Andrea. Thanks in general. Thanks, Thomas, Andrea, Mia, Jaromil. Very, very insightful intervention. So who can apply? Yeah, just very quickly, we have given you already a lot of information. This is just quickly to wrap up and to sort of close the circle now that you know a lot more about the third open call and the program. As mentioned before, this is an advanced version of the program, shortened and compressed. So also the entry level is a little bit different, a little bit higher. We are looking for legal entities that have been registered for at least 8 months, counting from the deadline of the application, which is the 22nd of February. And as you will see in the guide for applicants, the team that applies has to have, at the very least, a core team of 3 profiles, which should be a researcher, a developer, and a business development or entrepreneur person, someone savvy, business savvy, who leads the project. This is because we are starting as explained before, we are starting the program, let's say, at a later stage. It's more compressed, so we do need people that have already or projects that have already made a certain impact and bring a bit of business knowledge to the program. These legal entities should be established in an EU member state or associated countries. You will see that as well in the guide for applicants. We provide the link there to the info page of the European Commission. And we highly recommend gender balanced teams. Even more so, we are a program, as mentioned, that is strongly based on European values. We know that women, females are still underrepresented in the tech space. So gender balanced, and we even more so welcome women and want to encourage women to apply and with their teams. Next slide, please. What types of projects are we funding? Again, as mentioned before, research projects that are based on research components, previous or current research components, which can be technological or socioeconomic, and an already existing product or service or component that they want to build something onto or that they want to extend. Ideally, we would be talking about TRL 6 or 7. Of course, I can only repeat this. This the project should be aligned with the NGI vision. So please check the links that I have posted on the chat here for all the information already while Stein was talking. And then again, as Stein has pointed out, the results of these bottom-up projects should be compliant with open licenses. Next slide, please. A question that arises often, so we will go a bit ahead and respond it already. Anyway, I've also put in the link where you can go to the page where you find the guide for applicants and the frequently asked question document, where you can find all this information, especially with regards to the team profiles that we are looking for and what they have to entail. So here, a question that has often arisen in the previous rounds was that people wanted to know about the researcher within the core team, the academic researcher. What does he have to bring, she have to bring? Well, at least a degree, a master's degree that gives access to a PhD or something published, at least one article published on a scientific magazine or journal. That's sort of what we're looking for in a researcher. The rest you can check it in the frequently asked questions.
Okay, thank you for that, Thomas. That was very clear. We're going to wrap up this webinar now, but before that, I'm going to announce to you that the next webinar is on the 4th of February 2021. That's 2 weeks from now, on a Thursday. And we will have testimonies from Group 1 and Group 2. So if you're interested in learning more about their experience, attend this webinar and they will answer any questions that you have. We have these references for you. It's the guide for applicants and the FAQ, which are available in the chat box. They've been posted to you, as well as other useful websites and links. So please refer to the chat box. The links are in there, but I have them on screen for you as well, just in case you want to take a screenshot. Not really write them down, but take a screenshot. And then all registered participants will receive this link in a follow-up email. I'd like to show you our communication channels. We are on Twitter at LEDGER.eu. That is our handle. The website is www.ledgerproject.eu, and you can access the Ledger community at the link that you see at the bottom. If you have any questions about the program or questions you want to direct to the consortium, you can address those questions on the email address that you see at the top right, which is social@ledgerproject.eu, and we will be happy to answer any questions or queries that you may have. Now comes the part that we've all been waiting for. It is the Q&A session. So I would like to remind you that you may address your questions in the control panel on the right, and we'll try our best to answer them. If ever you have any questions, if ever there are any questions we can't answer right now, we recommend you to address them to the email address that you see on the screen right now. But for now, we'll try our best, and we are all ears. Okay, so the first question we have is cross-sectoral solutions which are useful for some of 5 priority themes, should be applied within 6th category open innovation. Am I right? That is correct. Any cross-sectoral solutions that you have should be applied in the open innovation category, in case it was not clear. We have another question. It is, and this might be a technical question, so I'll read it up slowly. I experienced some end user reviews about adopting blockchain technology for their work, and they evaluated the impact and the power consumption of each blockchain interactions before deciding to adopt this technology. Would a proposal for a solution to this problem be interesting for you?
I can reply that in this case, we will be looking at what these interactions are for, and not just their performance. So the purpose of the interactions.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question is, oh wait, I think there are 2 parts to this question, so let me just see. Okay, just to let you know, in case you have any issues with the link that you saw on the screen or in the chat box, we will be sending you a follow-up email with all the correct links that you need, because there might have been an error. It's not something that I can check right now. Regarding the situation where an applicant is an NGO registered in Ukraine, is it eligible for the applicant to collect internationals within the team, in particular citizens of Ukraine and the USA?
Yes, as long as they are, the core team is based in the European Union. We have received this question actually on our email, and we were looking into this. Ukraine is on the list, or at least most part of it, part of Crimea and another area of Ukraine. But yeah, we will respond more in detail to the email that was sent yesterday, which is precisely exactly the same question. I hope I've responded.
Thank you for that. Is there a maximum number of funded projects per vertical? I can answer that question already, and we aren't looking for specific quotas with per vertical. Every application is judged individually.
May I add that we are, as mentioned before, we are aiming to fund up to 9 projects, but yeah, independently of their verticals.
Thank you for that. We're going to move to another question. It is, in what phases should our project be? I'll rephrase this question. So what phase should our project be in order for us to apply? Proof of concept or just a proposal? I think the best way to answer this question is I'll go back to this screen in which we say that projects have to be based on research components relevant to the topics of privacy by design and distributed data governance, of course. But more relevant to your question is that you must already have an existing and impactful software product or prototype, so ideally TRL 6 or 7, which means technology that's been validated in its relevant environment. Additionally, it should align with the NGI vision, of course, and should respect or be compliant with open licenses. This should answer your question. There is also the requirement that the legal entity has to have been registered for at least 8 months, which corresponds to any time before the 22nd of June 2020. All right, another question that we have. It's a bit of a long one, so please bear with me. I think it is not possible to subcontract the developer function. In case of health or public services, it can be a difficulty. Health and public authorities have the ownership of data and capacity to create the network of users, but perhaps not the skills to develop the solution. In this case, must a tech provider apply and plan a pilot without a public health authority? What can be the right solution for this case?
In case of a developer, a software developer, it's your team can have or should have a CTO, and you can then outsource part of the work to a developer, a freelancer, etc. What we don't is not allowed is to outsource the full software developing function to an external company or a third party. So the main management of the development should happen as a core team member function, as I explained before, and should therefore be in-house. But this doesn't mean that you can't get support subcontracting certain elements of it to individuals. Don't know if Diane wants to add something there, but I think I sort of have responded.
Pretty precise. About the pilot case, just simply consider when we look at your project, we look at the chances you have to actually succeed, stand on your feet and thrive. And for this, we need to see it or imagine it very quickly applied to reality. So yes, be close to a pilot if you claim that you can improve the work of an health institution. Then being close to an hospital, at least that adopts it immediately or is adopting it, it's good. So be close to the reality of delivery, and consider this third round of LEDGER is even shorter than the previous round. So it will have to happen quickly.
Thank you very much for these answers. It's been very insightful for our listeners. To the listeners, do you have any more questions? We'll keep the webinar open for another minute or two, and if not, we will end the webinar. Okay, in that case, let's end the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us to this second webinar about NGI Ledger. I would like to remind you that the next webinar is in 2 weeks on the 4th of February, and we will look at the testimonies from groups 1 and 2. And thank you to all my co-hosts, Thomas from Funding Box, and the team from Dying, Andrea, Jeremiel, and Mia. Thank you very much. And
thanks for the moderation.
Exactly. Thank you, Thomas, for the moderation. Very good. And thank you, Dine. And thank you, everyone, for attending. We are awaiting your proposals.
Happy hacking. Bye.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.